All right. Good evening, everyone. I am Laura Tennant, National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company. Thank you for being here. Our speaker tonight is 18-year-old entrepreneur and franchise owner, Makenna Kirchhoff. I met Makenna's mom, Andrea, through this Juice Plus world in 2007. A mutual friend brought Andrea into our team, and I will be forever grateful to that person. Andrea and I have been franchise and mission partners, but most importantly, very close friends. I'm in Missouri, they are in Nebraska, so I have watched Makenna grow up from afar into this beautiful young woman and entrepreneur. And because of what she has done with her own personal Juice Plus and Tower Garden franchise in a short amount of time, we felt it was a story worth telling. Andrea, take it away.
Well, thank you so much. I'm almost speechless when I think about what this young lady has done and the fact that, God gave her to me and I get to call her my daughter is just beyond what I can explain to you. So obviously I have, somewhat rose-colored glasses when I look at her and who she is. However, I want to share with you just a little bit about what she accomplished this spring. And then we're really going to do, our call is going to be a little bit more of a Q&A format. So she's going to share her story, and then I'm just going to ask her some questions that I think many of us, would like to help teenagers and young people understand. And I would just love to get her perspective on that. So first of all, she turned 18 on February 26th. And by the end of March, she had actually accomplished all of the requirements of fast tracking to, or express tracking, to sales coordinator. So that was kind of a perfect storm of things that happened. But what really happened is that Makenna decided what she wanted to do. She set a goal and she went for it. And in fact, one of the weeks in there, we were in Mexico for a week for spring break. And so there wasn't a lot of activity going on at that point, but she talked to people. She was constantly sharing, and she is continuing to build her business, yet to this day. And I think that she has a lot of wisdom as an 18-year-old to be able to share. So, of course, we have a ton of fun together. I say to people that I have an 18-year-old that actually likes me, which how fortunate am I for that. But the other part, many of you know, I own a tower farm here in Nebraska, and we are a seedling provider. And so that's really the plant nerd passion is really what first, I started noticing that when she was a little girl. And of course she did grow up in the Juice Plus business, but being able to share, provide seedlings and the education about our tower gardens together is something that we are looking forward to doing for the rest of our lives. So Makenna, take it away. Why don't you share your story and have at it?
Okay, well, as my lovely mother just said, I did grow up with Juice Plus, which has been an amazing thing. And I think that had I not, I wouldn't necessarily believe so much in this business. That being said, I now have the tools to be able to help other people understand why it is such an incredible business to be a part of. And then everything that happened in the month of March, I give all the glory to God, because I could not have even pieced that together had I tried. But it all just was there, and so I took advantage of that, and it's been incredible. And then, of course, after that, we had graduation. I'm a senior, obviously, so I just graduated. Going to school at the University of Nebraska, Lincoln in the fall. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about that whole March whirlwind. So first, I had known this little gal named Katie. She is an ag teacher a little bit south of where I live, so 45 minutes away from Lincoln, Nebraska. So I'd met her like about a year before I started my business at a little conference. First of all, I'd seen her at state FFA events, and then at a little conference that all the teachers go to where we taught about towers and why they make sense for a classroom. So I made that connection, and I'd just known about her. We had known about each other, and then she wanted to order towers, and so we did. That sounded great. We were going to do that, and we put the orders under me since I had made that connection a while ago. And then my mom and I kind of talked to her about maybe the business would make sense for her because, first of all, it would help her to get a little cheaper on our tower gardens. But she also is getting married in the fall, in September, I believe. And so she's on her own little health journey right now. So she signed up as a distributor. Didn't really know. We knew about the fast track or the ExpressTrack, but I didn't really know if that would be something that I'd be able to do since I was still in school. So that was just like one of my little leads, and I was like, okay, we'll sign her up as a distributor. So we did that. And then that's my first little leg. Then my cousin Sierra, she is a basketball player. She played her freshman year at Virginia Tech, and then she just played a year in a little school, a little JUCO school in Florida, and now she's going to, where is she going to this fall?
Hold on. No, it's hold on, I'll get it in just a second.
Anyway, she's going to a different school.
Mercer University.
Yep. So she's been an athlete for her entire life. She's learned her work ethic through being a basketball player. And she's also met a lot of people, and she found her passion for people throughout her career in basketball. When we kind of she'd known, so when was it, last fall at the conference, she had went to the little after party with my mom. She met Laura there. She met quite a few people on our team, and she couldn't go for the whole thing because she's still in school and she was working hard. So she was like, well, this sounds like a pretty good deal. She's like, I need to sign up as a distributor at some point. But she was getting through her transferred year at this new school in Florida. So we didn't really do anything with her until she kind of reached out to us again, and we were like, okay. So we signed her up under me, and then they had been on Juice Plus for a while, but we reorganized kind of all of their orders so that the children's health study was correct and it was being shipped to the correct places, and it was under her now. So that was awesome. That was just my other leg. I'm like, okay, well, this is great. I have two people. And then my friend John, he was diagnosed with Graves' disease. So he had some thyroid issues going on. And I he didn't really talk about it, but I knew he had mentioned one thing at like when we were hanging out once, and I didn't really think much about it because I didn't know a lot about it. But then I kind of realized it was this bigger deal. And so I talked to my mom. I was kind of like asking her, like, so what is Graves' disease? Like, what does it entail? And I found out that it's kind of a bigger deal than I ever knew. And then I kind of took a little step of faith one night when we were all going to hang out. I was with a bunch of my friends, but we were at his house, and his mom was there. And so I talked to Chelsea, and I was like, so I don't know if you've heard of Juice Plus, but I think it might be a good idea for John to think about maybe getting on that, or just your family in general. Would you like to take a look at it at some point? And she actually was like, oh, well, I've taken Juice Plus before. And I'm like, oh, you have? Okay. So she pulled out these bottles, and I think it had been a couple years since she ordered, but she had these bottles left over in the top of her cabinet. And I'm like, oh, that's crazy. And so I was like, well, we also have one of my mom's really good friends, Jake
Durr.
Jake Durr has Graves' disease, and it has been a big part of her life. It has affected her in a lot of ways. But she lives by Juice Plus. She takes, the omega capsules. Like, she will take them it'll clear her head up, basically. It'll help those hormones even out. So I knew that was a connection that I could make, because Chelsea, there's not much information out there about how to deal with Graves' disease, what it does to a person, like how all of this, how it works. So I was like, well, if you want to like meet up, Jake was actually going to be in town for an event the following week.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had them meet up with each other. And then she's like, yeah, like, this sounds awesome. Like, I want to get my kids on it. And so right now, I think all of her kids are taking Juice Plus. She signed up as a rep. And then she signed her son up as a rep did he sign up?
No, he's just a customer.
He was just a customer. So they're all taking Juice Plus, which is amazing and good. And those were my three kind of people that just went together. And then we went back to Katie, and we were like, okay, so now I have three legs. It's probably, when was it?
Maybe the 25th of March.
And so we talked to Katie. Who was like, so would you have anyone else? Because she had over 2,000 points. well over 200 or 2,000, about almost 3,000 points, I think, because of the tower orders and her Juice Plus orders. And we're like, so would your mom want to order and be a distributor so that we could get that going and we could get her bonuses and everything? And that happened. And so that was how I did the ExpressTrack, and it was all insane, but it was a very awesome thing. So now that that's that story done, that's kind of been my Juice Plus journey. I've taken a little break because I graduated from high school and we had the grad parties and everything, and now I'm getting kind of started again. We're working on planning some future goals, but other than that, that's kind of where I'm at, which is, it's crazy. It's been crazy, but I absolutely love it, and I love the community, and it's been an awesome deal so far. So yeah.
Okay.
I think
Are you ready for a question?
Yes. We're
Okay.
doing questions.
So we actually asked some of our team to give us some questions that what would you like to ask, a teenager who has been able to accomplish this, in light of what they're hearing from some of the teenagers in their life. So I'm just going to read these. So you grew up with Juice Plus and Tower Gardens. Okay. What would you say to someone who has just now learned about them, who is also your age? And why would you recommend Juice Plus, Tower Gardens, and this mission, at this point in your life? Why does it really make sense for somebody even who's just now learned about it?
Well, it really makes sense because we're young, and there's so many amazing things that we get to do in our lifetime. But being able to know that we could prevent disease in the future, we can get our skin prettier, we can, help our friends to be healthier, we can not miss school by being sick. Like, there's so many things that are beneficial with these products. But I also think, for me, my tower journey is a little different. Obviously, we have had towers ever since they came out, and now we have a farm, and we put them in schools, and we do all this. That being said, maybe for a college student, it isn't financially smart to get a tower garden right away, but it is something to keep in mind and to know and be educated about, because there are so many schools that would benefit from tower gardens and ag programs across our country, that this is the future of agriculture, and it's a big teaching tool. So that's something. And then there's also a ton of families that, you probably know if you're a new person and you're young, that would love to have some sort of garden if they don't have the space, if they live in an urban area. Tower gardens are amazing things. We just listened to Stephen Ritz in Chicago at the Chicago Summit talk about, his tower gardens and his education that he does with them. And it's an amazing tool that somehow we are so blessed to have, along with Juice Plus. It's like crazy to me that this is the best company ever. As far as the business goes, it really makes sense to be able to make money and help people at the same time, because I feel like everyone wants to do good in some way, but it's just an easy way to be able to do good things and make money and, keep yourself, get a little extra cash when you're in school.
Okay. So next question is, if I'm a brand new person who's just learned about this, should I sign up this summer before school starts, before college, or should I wait until I get in a routine and I really kind of understand, what my life is going to look like as we go through kind of this transition from high school to college?
Honestly, I'd recommend signing up as soon as you can, because then you have the opportunity to learn and educate yourself while you're going, and you're going to start meeting a ton of new people if you're rushing or if you're just in your new classes. There's a ton of people who I'm so excited to meet new people, and it makes sense for college students because, there's time freedom involved, and you get to do what you want. You get to do it on your own time, and you get to do as much or as little as you want, and you're still doing good things. So I would suggest signing up as soon as you can, just so that you have that opportunity to have time freedom with your education. You don't have to, try and cram to answer people's questions, because there are a lot of questions that people will ask.
Okay. So speaking of time, how do you actually find time to do this business?
Well, that's something I'm really excited to work on. Because we have been super crazy, we do a lot of things. Me personally, with working with our Grow Hope Farms business, as well as this business, and then going to have school in the fall, and then, having time for myself and my family and my friends. So that's something I'm super excited that we have good tools to use in our company that will help you set boundaries and set time frames for different activities that you do. I'm excited to I just got my class schedule, so I'm excited to be able to plan times when I'm going to work at our farm and when I'm going to work with my Juice Plus business. And it's such an amazing company because you have the freedom to do that. I would suggest, learning to time block. And when you do that, you can spend, an hour working on this business, checking emails, even educating yourself is work. And it's, creating yourself to be a better, not employee, but you get to be an employee for yourself. So you get to learn yourself, and then you get to go and help other people understand what you understand.
Okay. I'm going to skip around on this list that I actually gave you to begin with. So, because it'll flow a little better. So you mentioned this, but where do you find new people to talk to, keep having a warm market? And then how do you actually bring up Juice Plus or Tower Gardens? Because sometimes teenagers are not as invested, or they don't maybe care about their health or know that they need to care about their health maybe as much as somebody who has been through some health challenges, right? So how do you meet the new people, and then how do you actually bring up Juice Plus to somebody in your generation?
I would say learning to not necessarily have confidence, because it's sometimes hard to just, oh yeah, I'm confident, but you kind of got to fake it till you make it with that. And not being afraid to talk to people, because everyone is just looking for someone to, be their friend. Like, everyone is. Like, no one is going to, be mad if you talk to them, or you're open. I would suggest building a relationship first. You don't have to lead with, hey, like, I am a Juice Plus distributor. I think it's really important to, like, talk to your friends and talk to your people that are new. I don't know how I meet people. Sometimes you just gotta, like, compliment someone. Like, I think that it's really important to practice, like, being kind to people randomly. So I will try and compliment like 3 people a day, just randomly. And sometimes that leads into a conversation, or like if you see someone and you're like, oh, like, I love that, like, I have something like that, or, just weird things like that where you start a conversation, and that can lead to so much. There's so many opportunities and doors that will open when you just start upfront with people and, kind to them. And then what was the other part of that?
How do you actually bring up Juice Plus? You said build a relationship. So then when it's time to do that, how do you bring that?
Sometimes it's hard. Like I said with the Chelsea thing, it was like I knew that I needed to say something. And so I said something. But other times it's like, I don't want my friends to be weird or like whatever. So I would just, again, lead with confidence, and you don't have to talk a lot about it. You can just kind of say, well, like, I take Juice Plus, or like, if you just kind of have to fit it into your conversations that you're having. You don't just always have to, like I said, lead with, I'm a Juice Plus distributor. So if people are working out or you're at the gym and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I have, my complete shakes, because like they're yummy and I know they're helping me heal and recover. And then, I don't know, a lot of the times it'll just, people talk about their health a lot because that's a big issue in our society today. So mentioning that, hey, like, I have something that might help you. Would you be interested in looking at it? Because I think that there's a lot of things in this product that might interest you. Like something like that, and give them some video to watch. That's how I've talked to people, I think, the most, because people talk about what's wrong with them. And then you tell them how you can help them.
Okay, so I'm going to go back up here for a second. You mentioned something about your friends. I have 2 questions that are kind of similar. What if my friends make fun of me? And how do you actually handle the rejection, which could be kind of the same thing. Friends making fun of you could potentially be rejection, or you can see rejection as somebody who actually says, no, they don't want the product. So maybe those are similar.
Your friends, I have friends that make fun of me. And honestly, I think it comes down to being confident in who you are and what you stand for. And in order to be confident, you do have to educate yourself. Like, that is a huge, we are paid to learn. I've heard that so many times, that we are paid to learn in this company. And when you do that, you will slowly start to build confidence in what you believe in and why you do this. Because that's honestly the most important thing, is so that you know that you're taking care of yourself and you are, developing your education. And once you do that, people can make fun of you. They can say, oh, like, they make jokes. I've had, trust me, so many jokes made. But I also know some of my closest friends are on Juice Plus. And I'm like, well, you can't really argue with that. So I just kind of, you take it You can either laugh along, you can just glare at them, I don't know, whatever your responses normally are. And then that's okay. But if they see that you start to succeed in this business, and that, oh, you know, if people are partying on the weekends and you're not having bad Mondays or bad Sundays, and that's a really great way to be like, yeah, well, I'm taking Juice Plus. I know, like, that I'm helping my body heal and recover. If you don't get sore after workouts, or if, you know, like, there's so many different things that will just show in your daily life. It's just, you just got to live it out. And once you start doing that, people will see a difference. And then rejection, it's not fun. And a lot of the time, okay, so I heard this at a conference. It was 10% are going to 100% say yes, 10% will 100% say no. And then there's 80% that are on the line and they don't know. So I think that's important to think about. That's what I think about when I'm kind of going out and talking to people. I'm like, they just don't know, so might as well educate them. You're not doing anything wrong. You are helping people. So I have been rejected straight up before. Like, one of my friend's moms, she's 18. She had like arthritis, early onset arthritis or something happening with her. She couldn't even hardly do her makeup. And I'm like, listen, like, she works in a doctor's office. I think she does like bookkeeping or something. So she's very much Western medicine. So she's like, yeah, we're going to the doctor for this. And I'm like, would you be interested in looking at all that? Juice Plus, they've ordered our shakes before. And she was like, nope, we're letting the doctors deal with this. And I'm like, well, you know that doctors are 100% behind this, and it's food. And she's like, yeah, well, I don't want anything to, you know, happen that would hurt her, you know, other medicines or something. I'm like, okay. So I just kind of left that alone. And it's not fun, but as long as you deal with it gracefully and you are confident in what you say, and you are like, okay, well, if you ever change your mind, like, let me know. I would be happy to set up a meeting with you. Like, leaving it open like that shows your character, and it really makes our company look good just because you're supporting our company. So if you're responding well to these situations, then like people are going to see that. I also had another friend of mine. We met up for coffee. I wanted to talk to her because I love this girl, but I also had talked to her about Juice Plus in my like English class. I think we sat next to each other, and she and I just clicked really well. So we just would start talking, and it was awesome. So I met up to get coffee with her. And so I talked to her. I told her about the ExpressTrack, and I'm like, well, this might make sense for you as you're going off to college. And so I told her about it, and she's like, you know, right now, I don't think this is a great time for me. But I'm not saying no, because in the future, I think this could be an awesome, awesome thing and an awesome opportunity. And so you take that as a win, because you got to talk to someone, you got to share your story, and you get to build that relationship further. Like, she knows that I care about her. She knows that I wasn't just doing that to sell Juice Plus to her or get her to be on my team. She knows that I was doing that to care about her. And then I followed up with texts. I'll text her every once in a while, and we'll have a little conversation. And so, like, that's really the most important thing, is loving people and caring about people and just being excited to talk to people. Anything else?
I have just a couple more questions,
okay,
and then I'm going to let you wrap up with whatever you want to say. Okay, so and you touched on this as well, meeting up for coffee, keeping connected, building the relationships. What tools do you recommend for someone your age, the tools that we have in our business? What about three-way connection calls, and do you do events, and why? So kind of just talk about our tools, events, calls, texting, social media, maybe touch on that for just a minute or two.
Tools that I recommend, I honestly haven't capitalized on this part of our business, which is something I'm really excited to start doing. I think first it's important to watch the videos yourself so that you kind of get an idea of like, oh, I've heard this, or you learn this. You absorb stuff whether you know it or not when you're watching these little short 3-minute videos. Like, there's like, I don't know, like our head of science, like a research guy. I love listening to him talk. He has this weird accent, and it's awesome. And like,
Dr.
I know what polyphenols are now, and I don't, okay. It's just, there's so many great things to look at and to absorb yourself. And then once you start doing that, you'll remember them when you have conversations with people, or you'll hear about, you know, autoimmune diseases or your skin and like taking care of like aging and all these different things with different types of people. The videos are awesome. I also think that 3-way calls, that was one of them. I think those are super cool because, well, for me, it's pretty easy because I have her like right here. But it's also important to like build that relationship with your uplines, and they love you. They're here to love you. They are going to love you forever and ever, because that's what we're about. So I think that I don't know how the best for me when I set these things up. I was like, would you be interested in hearing more or like listening to someone else talk about this because they know more than me or something like that. So I think that's probably the best way to lead with connection calls, and they're not for everyone, but you'll know if people are like, wow, this is like interesting. I'm like, okay, well, would you want to like set up a 10-minute call sometime to, you know, talk about it or figure some other stuff out and learn? And most of the time people are really okay with that. So what was
Awesome.
the other?
Events.
Events are fun. I'm hoping to get to plan one here for, I don't know, I think we want to do a smoothie party because, you know, this girl that I talked about with the joints and the pain, she loves our complete and she wants to know, like, how do I make more of them? I'm like, well, maybe I should just have like an event. And she was like, that sounds like so much fun. And so she was super excited about that. And I think if I get to educate her, she will be more excited about, you know, how this is this company and like what we do and like why it's such an awesome thing. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping I can get, she's one of my like dream team members. So that's something I'm super excited about. And then there's just so many fun things you can do. I think I talked with Melissa Chapman about doing like fun, complete dessert things and like having like some sort of little party, and you can do like, you know, desserts and wine, or if you're older, or you can do, you know, just desserts and like have a sleepover or like a movie night, different things like that. That's what we talked about because Ellie's over there. She's, you know, 18. She's my age. She just graduated. So that's something that I think would be super fun. That's another thing I'd love to do. Or like when I have my dorm room, like being able to invite people over. I have a suite style, so I have a little kitchenette that I can probably make some fun stuff in. So I'm super excited for that. There's just so many options for different types of people. And I think that if you look into the different things, you have good ideas. You can look on Pinterest and literally make anything have something to do with Juice Plus. So it's very malleable. It's a malleable product that goes anywhere. And you can do pretty much anything with it. So are we ready to wrap up? Do you have any more questions?
I think those are all the questions that we have.
Should I ask anyone?
Let's wrap up and then we'll stop the recording and people can ask questions.
Perfect. Okay. So I am just so excited about this company and everything that we're doing. We have so many exciting new things coming, especially in Austin in October. So I know some secrets that I'm really excited about. And so if you can get young team members there, it is such a great thing. Anyway, I think there's so many awesome opportunities in this company for young people to just have a good time, as well as just embrace the future of like our world and being healthy and healthy living. And then when we get to be older and we get to start being parents, we know what we're putting in our children and we know that we're going to have healthy babies. And that's something that for me, that's kind of one of my biggest things is like, if I bring anyone into this world, like I want to make sure that they're going to be healthy. And like, I don't want to have to deal with like my kids struggling. That's something that's super important to me. And because like, I want to have a good, happy life. And so for me, it's not only about me, it's about other people and it's about my people. So I'm just super excited about this company. And there's so many good things that I'm just, it makes me just want to sing and be happy. Anyway, I don't know. There's just an awesome mission that we all get to be a part of. And we have this awesome community to be a part of. And I think that there's nothing really that can beat that. So.
Awesome.
Wow.
Those are my future grandbabies that she's.
Wow. Absolutely. Oh, gosh. So I know we've got some questions. I'm looking at this chat here, but I want to stop the recording and then we'll stay here for questions. I just have got to say, it sounds like you've been doing this forever, Makenna. You have obviously been a very, very good student, and you're doing something with what you've learned. And I love that. And I'm thinking about your team, how you got started in the different stories, the backgrounds, the ag teacher, the cousin, the friend's mom, you know, and it was a series of of exposures that led to that perfect storm. And yet it was just conversations, and you just kept it simple. And so that's what we do. We just wash, rinse, and repeat with that. And so big congrats. I'm so proud of you. That doesn't even describe my heart for just what you've accomplished, who you are, what you're going to do, the impact that you're going to make. It's so refreshing to see people like you and Ellie here who are interested in investing in their health and their future. So thank you so much. Thank you for this call. Andrea, thank you for having this beautiful child. And I'm going to stop the recording, and then we will stay on for a couple of quick questions.